Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that your week is starting off strong and you're feeling good and everything else is good in your life. Is your tinnitus back? Is your fatigue back? There's a lot of stuff going on in the universe as far as the cosmos in relationship to the planet today. There are a lot of solar flares, plasma and light pieces breaking off of the sun. Thank God they didn't come our way. They did go. This is when the sunspot was on the other side of the sun, and we are in a very low period of sunspot activity. But there was one really big sunspot they were very worried about. They figured if it breaks off and comes towards the Earth, we may be without power up to, 3 to 6 months, maybe a year. They weren't sure how bad it would hit. So luckily, when the solar flare came out of that sunspot, luckily it went the opposite way. But it's still affecting us. It still is affecting us. There is some energy did come our way, but not the grand majority of it, thank God. I did notice in the sky when I was looking at the white and gray clouds that in the white clouds I saw a lot of emerald green energy and I saw a lot of pink energy. As my third eye, my pineal gland is becoming higher and higher in vibration, and I'm using this more and more, I'm starting to see the energy beyond the normal. So I saw a lot of emerald green and a lot of pink energy, and in these energies, they are related to the heart. I believe this came from the solar energy that was released and went our way from the solar flare. And it's just issues of the heart. You know, anytime anyone's ever hurt you or betrayed your trust, lied to you or broke up with you or anything that hurt you emotionally in the past, if there's any residual from it, you're going to be dealing with it this week. It's just part of what's going on. You know, we all have to go through our stuff, but we're not going through it alone. We're now going through it collectively, together as a human family, which is nice. You know, it's at least we're not alone in a sea of faces. We're all part of the same ocean. So there's that. The other thing that I noticed today that I've never seen before in my life is the dark, dark clouds that are almost like a deep, deep charcoal gray, almost black clouds that I've been seeing. And I've been seeing during all the rainstorms here. I mean, like the formidable, like, oh my God, almost like a massive dementors is coming our way. You know, it's what the clouds look like sometimes. Sometimes they're wispy like the dementors in Harry Potter. And sometimes they're very thick and very dense clouds. Well, today I noticed that they're not black anymore and they're no longer charcoal gray. They're a deep, deep cobalt blue, almost borderline of indigo. What that tells me is the earth is now receiving pineal gland energy. Or third eye energy. So it's going to affect our sixth chakra, which is our third eye. We are going to start to telepath easier. We're going to have a lot more psychic ability. We're going to be able to discern information from our past that we weren't aware of. We might have things from our past come to light that is kind of like the rest of the story. So if someone hurt you or betrayed you, you might now also see the rest of the story, the part that you wouldn't allow the person to explain. You know, if you ever push someone out of your life for doing something horrible to you, there's usually another explanation you did not know or hear. or if someone breaks up with you out of the blue and it makes no sense, now you're going to get the rest of the story using your psychic power, which is now going to be coming online in a much greater way. And I see that you're going to be also be able to see the future as well. And also not only with telepathy, but you're going to be able to know what other people are doing when you think about them. They're going to know what you're doing as well. And also possibly you're going to start hearing people's thoughts. Might not happen this week, but these abilities are coming online. You need to cleanse all of your thoughts and all your negativity and all your judgment of other people, because you know what? Pretty soon they're going to hear it. They're gonna hear it and they're not gonna be happy. So if you're not coming from a place of complete love, compassion, and integrity, people are gonna know. So that's something to keep in mind as you go through your spiritual journey. It's just this massive, massive cleansing. And speaking of cleansing, another thing is we are still going through the immune system thing where we're maybe catching colds or getting flus or just feeling sick. Even if it's not an actual sickness, without virus and bacteria or whatever, there's still like kind of a general malaise. That's because your immune system is still transferring over to the new system. Also, it's possible that you may actually just get sick, like with the virus or something. So take extra rest, drink extra water, make sure it's high quality water, stay away from tap water. I don't trust it, especially if they say it's really good or the best in the country or best in the world. When they say that, I just feel like you're living a few hours from Flint. When I was in Detroit, they literally said that. Oh, some of the best water in the world, the guy that sold me my house. Don't worry, Detroit, we're known for some of the best drinking water around. And I'm like, wow, I'm literally like 2 hours south of Flint. Like, I don't know. I don't totally believe that somehow. So, I'm in Cuenca, and now they say the same thing about this city. Oh, well, best tap water ever. Yeah, I know, but our building, we're having a lot of water issues in the past year. And I don't know, when they turn off the water for a while and then they turn it back on, you get H. pylori from that. So just stay away from tap water entirely. If you can't, if there's something, a circumstance where you have to drink it, unfortunately, the only thing I could recommend is boiling it on the stove for 10 to 12 minutes. It will take the oxygen out, it will make it dead water, but it will also kill any germs or anything that is in the water. So, I don't know. I've had this happen a couple times where I'm totally fine, everything's great, the water gets shut off, and then when it gets turned back on a day or two or three or a week later, I end up with H. pylori, even if I'm boiling the water. So, when you cook with water, I don't know, if you have that situation, just make sure you boil the water before you use it to cook. Because I didn't do it, you don't think about it. You just get sink water for pasta, and then you have drinking water for drinking, and you don't really think about it because you figure it's going to be cooked, but, it's just something to keep in mind. Now, along with the immune system thing, another thing that I've noticed, and this is really strange, is that my body is every 2 to 3 days putting itself through a automatic detox. I'm not going out of my way to detox my body. I'm not doing, and I've been thinking about doing like a juice diet for the majority of my food. Lately, I've been thinking about it to cleanse my body. And when I'm thinking about it, all of a sudden my body will automatically just start the detox on its own. Very weird. It's like when I think it, now my body's like, okay, well, let's just do that. It's like, I didn't even buy the beets yet, man. I was going to do beet, carrot, and orange juice, or orange, not orange juice, but an orange. Or you could do beet, carrot, and apple. You mix that with maca powder, maca root. And it's 2 cups of water, half a beet, a small carrot or half a large carrot, and 1 apple or 1 orange. Or you could do an apple and an orange. Or the best way is a slice of pineapple. If you have canned pineapple, that's the next best thing. But put all that through a blender. Do that every day for 3 weeks. And if your body is starting to develop any kind of precancer or cancerous forms, it will take care of it completely. If you do have cancer, it will start to heal you. It will. I healed my body with this. I had cancer. I had 10 tumors a few years ago, and 21 days later, I was cancer free on the 20th day, actually. So I put myself through this every now and again, where that's my breakfast or my afternoon meal becomes this like 2 glasses of this stuff, and it's excellent. It tastes good, and it's a really pretty red. And the beet juice mixed with carrot and orange or pineapple is really good for you. It's one of the only concoctions that, and it's funny because this was the one that my boyfriend from Peru told me to do. And he said it's one of the things that they use to cure cancer in Peru. There's all kinds of clinics and stores that cure cancer. So I thought, hey, all right, I trust you. I'm going to do it. He was very health conscious, health minded. He's, one of the very few almost 40-year-old skinny Peruvians. Most people that get up to that age have heart disease and diabetes and problems, and he was really thin and in great shape. So he was 37 when I met him and turned 38 while we were together. And he looked like he was 25. He was beautiful and great shape. But this is how he did it, was with juices. And so he's like, here's the formula. And about a month later on Facebook, someone had said, look, scientists discovered that this juice literally kills cancer cells. And I'm like, funny. That's been in Peru for 100 years. They all knew it. And I used it, and I did. I cured my cancer. Thank you, God. I found the recipes, though. Now, what I told you is exactly what I used. So, and then the rest of the time, I just eliminated sugar. I eliminated fried food, and I just cooked at home for myself. I just made very simple meals. Sometimes rice, once a week pasta, very rarely. I hardly ever eat pasta anyway, but just mostly steamed vegetables, steamed vegetables, a little bit of rice, and that's, maybe an egg, fried egg. And I didn't even eat meat during those 3 weeks, maybe chicken one time. But anyway, I know I just thought I'd throw that out there. Somebody out there, one of you people, and I'm speaking to you right now or in the future, needs to hear it. So my higher spirit just told me, you better mention that. Wasn't even on my list to mention, but you know what? Sometimes God works through me, and I don't question it. So the cobalt blue color clouds were absolutely incredible today. I was really blown away by it when I saw it, and then my mind filled in the blanks of what it should look like. And then I said, no, I want to really see it. And I took a deep breath and kind of let go of all my preconceived notions. And that's when the charcoal gray turned to cobalt blue in all the clouds. And I looked through all the different windows. I even opened my window to make sure it wasn't the windows. No, they were cobalt blue, very dark, dark cobalt blue, almost on the border of indigo. So I asked my higher guidance about it, and I was told that our Earth, the way it works is if there is a cloud cover or clouds in the sky, they will hold the energy coming from the sun to disperse it to humanity slowly. If there are no clouds, then the plants will do it. The plants will hold the energy. And if the plants aren't around, the ground will hold the energy. unless it's someone like me or you, and you are a light worker and I'm a light worker probably. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this are light workers, and then we're the ones that hold the energy for the rest of humanity. So, I don't know, it was just kind of a crazy conversation I had with God today, and that's what I was told. So, hey, pretty cool. I did see also, though, in the gray clouds, the pale gray clouds, they were holding on to a golden energy that looked like actual 24 karat gold. I saw like little bits and flakes of this 24 karat gold feeling. So while as yesterday it was the silver energy, today there was the gold. There was a pink and the green in the pale clouds. The medium clouds had the gray, the gold, and then the darker clouds held cobalt blue. Those were the energies I saw coming into us, into the earth today. At least in South America. I don't know what it's like in North America. It did occur to me that we might be receiving different energies at different times. We might have different evolvement times depending on the continent. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was a thought that occurred to me, so may or may not ring true for you guys. I don't know. So let's see here. If I looking to see what else I wrote. Yeah, that was all my notes for the day for my intro. Now, and the ascension scale. That's one thing I didn't talk about yet. Let me ask my guidance real quick. So is it above 90? Is it above 95? Is it above 98? Is it below 98? Is it below 97? It is at 97. All right, so our ascension symptoms scale today is at a 97. Pretty high. It's pretty high up there still. It's one less than yesterday, but pretty high. So again, with the fatigue, especially with the immune system stuff that's coming online in the third eye, and the tinnitus is back. Yay! I say really sarcastically, I'm so tired of it. If you guys do suffer from tinnitus, gently, very, very gently, tug your ears away from your head, straight out a little bit. Just very gently pull. Sometimes that does alleviate the symptoms. It did alleviate mine today. So maybe I slept wrong or something, and it's not just the energies coming in. Yeah, okay. So this ascension scale, 97. So take it easy if you get a break. Use it to meditate or take a quick cat nap. Cat naps are good. And the Schumann Resonance News today at 10 a.m. UTC time today, they write, after a period of about 24 hours in which the dense vertical lines were not present in the graph, well, today they've reappeared, together with the activity that restarted at 5:30 UTC. The peaks were gradually increasing in amplitude, with the first at 30 hertz, the second at 35 hertz, and the third at around 42 hertz. Then the evening report, 1700 UTC time, they say, after the peak above 40 hertz, the activity decreased to stay for about an hour at 20 hertz, then decreased further and reached normal amplitude values. So pretty cool. We had some activity. We had a fair amount of activity. It wasn't huge, but those vertical lines, I think you can read not between the lines, but read the lines themselves. And what did I tell you about a week ago? They're so skinny that they're not really registering as a specific frequency. I have a feeling that is going to keep happening again, more and more and more. So it was pretty interesting. I think there's a lot more than what the Schumann resonance can tell us scientifically. There's a lot more going on. And I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, for tonight's topic, I was going to do the 7 African powers, and I wanted to tell you about those. And I discovered some surprises while I was doing my research today. So I've decided to do my show tonight on the 7 African powers and the Orishas, which are the African deities or pantheon, gods and goddesses, if you will. So go ahead and let this run as you run off to the bathroom or whatever you do. Just let the commercial play out. I'll be right back after this message with the 7 African powers and the Orishas. Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you could get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. The 7 African powers. Have you ever wondered about the 7 African powers? I was in university in Northridge, Cal State University Northridge, so CSUN. When I first saw the 7 African power candles that are sold side by side with what I call the Jesus candles, the Catholic candles that have all the saints and the holy guardian angels on them. And I rather liked the 7 African powers one, but I would always get that with the Saint Martin de Porres and usually an Archangel Michael or a guardian angel or just a Jesus candle. I never got the one where Jesus was hanging on the cross. I felt like putting him in that position in my mind was far too unfair. He was a man who lived a beautiful life. Why only focus on the worst moment, Like if you imagine your entire life and then you take your most most horrible, horrific day out of your entire life and you became famous, would you want the whole world to focus on that one day? Or would you want them to focus on all the great things you did, right? So the crucifix has always bothered me for that reason, because any damn fool and his uncle can and do die and leave the planet through death. I mean, it's while you're living, what you do during the living part, that for me is important. So I don't know. I mean, you know, am I wrong? I think it's a little bit more important what you did while you're alive, while you weren't in danger, you know. So anyway, so I would get these Jesus candles and the saint candles, and every now and again I'd grab a 7 African power candle. Why not? It was so interesting to me. Plus the candle is beautiful. There's 7 colors. There's 7 layers of color. And I kind of called it a chakra candle. 7 chakras, 7 colors. What could be more perfect? What was the 7 African powers? I had no idea. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about African culture at that time. Although I had a friend who sold items from Africa, and I had a necklace of a skull made from bone, from an animal bone, not a human bone. Although he at first lied to me and said it was from a human bone because I had it in my hand. And I was like, ugh, you know, and he's like, I'm just kidding. So I bought it and I went home and made a necklace out of it. So I had like a choker with an actual human skull, and I told people it's taken from a human bone, which it wasn't. It was an animal bone, but it was a carving from Africa, it was actually really cool. And then I had seashells. I had this one seashell necklace from the Maasai tribe, and when I put it on, my crown chakra went so open and so wide that I got an instant headache, and it took me months before I could even wear this for a couple hours. I could never wear it through a whole day. I think I had a bracelet and then I had a necklace. I bought a lot of stuff from Africa, and there is a lot of power in the magic in Africa. And a lot of people, when they think magic, they think, first off, probably Harry Potter or Samantha from Bewitched, you know, TV magic or movie magic. And then the second thing they'll think of after that, when you say, well, real magic, they think either witches burning in the Spanish Inquisition or in Salem, or beyond that, people think druids. But people don't really tend to go, oh, Africa, number one, or Cuba, Haiti, Central and South America. Nobody really thinks about it, and it's always like an afterthought, like, oh, yeah, kind of, maybe, possibly that exists there. Is it really mad? I don't know. Is it hoodoo? Is it Santeria? Is it voodoo? What? And like people get a little confused, and then the conversation kind of drops off from there. You know, because nobody really knows. What is it? You know, and I mean, that's at least, you know, kind of the conversations that I've had with people over the years. That's kind of how it goes. You know, and then people get a little bit confused about it, and then it's just, I don't know. I met a guy who, his father was a priest in the church of Santeria. He was a high priest, and he was expected to go into Santeria with his family, his grandfather and his father. And he told me, he's like, you know what? I just couldn't do it. He's like, I saw some shit. He's like, I can't even talk about the stuff I know. I can't even talk about the stuff I've seen. And he never has talked to me about it. And I don't know. He's like some good, some bad, but mostly just weird stuff. And he literally couldn't handle it. And I don't know what that means, but I do know he's a hereditary witch. He's South American, obviously Colombia, but by way of Cuba. And his grandparents came from Cuba. They're Cubano, and Che Guevara actually was responsible for slaughtering his family. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm here to say that Che Guevara wasn't the hero that so many people would like to think. You know, you think you're being a revolutionary by wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt, but you know what? He hurt a lot of families. So I refuse to buy anything with his image on it. Same with Pablo Escobar. I mean, my God, you go to Colombia, they sell t-shirts and art and Pablo Escobar, this and that, like the guy was a hero. Well, he was in a way a hero for the people locally of Medellin, or Medellin, however you want to say it. Depends on how far south in South America you go to Argentina, it's Medellin. You go to Medellin in Colombia, half the people say Medellin, half the people say Medellin. I prefer the je part. But anyway, the Santeria, I found out, it's kind of throughout all of Central and South America. And it runs deep. The brujos, the brujas, it runs deep. And a lot of times it's mixed with the African influence. So we're going to clear up some stuff. We're going to clear up some things that mostly people don't know about what are the 7 African powers. Are they Orishas? And what are the Orishas? What does that mean? So we're going to clear it up right now. So the 7 African powers and also the Orishas, which means the gods. It's an African term for the gods or the pantheon, the deities. All of this is very important in the following religions. They're sacred to Santeria, Hoodoo, Candomblé, which is from the Brazilian form, Arara, and the Yoruba religion, which is from the Yoruba territories and tribes that were originally in Nigeria, Africa. Also, it is sacred to voodoo. So usually it's hoodoo, but in Haiti it's called voodoo. And the 7 African powers are different from the Orishas. A lot of places, you could go online right now and they're going to say these are the 7 African powers, and they're going to list 7 Orishas. But that's not true. According to the Santeria Church.org. Okay, I went to the source of this to find out more. I was very interested in it because, you know, I've been burning these Santeria candles, not knowing they're Santeria, not knowing they're voodoo. I hear 7 African powers. I'm like, well, 7 means chakra, and Africa is cool, and I like all the colors. It's beautiful. Color of the rainbow, God made the rainbow, and then I burned the candle. I didn't know who I was burning. I didn't burn it to anyone specifically, but I didn't know what or who I was representing when I did it. You know, I just did it because, hey, this is a badass candle. I mean, have you guys ever picked up something that you like and you don't know why you like it, and you find out later, oh, wow, I was burning a voodoo candle. I had no idea. Probably this never happened to anyone but me, but I don't know if I'm being like super relatable or like the most unrelatable person in the world right now. Either way, I'm going to still teach you guys about this stuff. So, what are the 7 African powers, and can just anybody talk to them, pray to them, whatever with them? Okay, this is going to be a big eye-opener, especially if you grew up like in New York City, if you're Puerto Rican and you don't quite know, but your abuela or abuelita was into this, or your tia, and you're going to go, oh my God, I did not totally understand this. So when I go through this, you can be like, what? This was a shocker to me. The 7 African powers, or the siete potencias africanos, which in South America, it's all in Spanish. So these are not gods. They're not pantheon. They're not deities from Africa. what the 7 African powers are the spirits of the dead. So they are literally considered to be the citizens of heaven. Okay, I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. The spirits of the dead, citizens of heaven. Now, can anybody call upon the spirits of the dead? Yeah, of course. Do you have to be in Santeria? No, you don't. Do you have to be a part of voodoo or hoodoo? No. No, God, no, not at all. I mean, you guys heard me just 2 months ago call upon Albert Einstein, and he's a citizen of heaven. He's dead, but he still helped us, did he not? So did Merlin, the master Merlin, the mage Merlin. You know, so you can call upon any spirits of the dead for clarification on a topic that they were, well informed of. Just because someone's dead doesn't make them a saint. Just because someone's dead doesn't mean they have all the knowledge of the universe, unless they studied all the knowledge of the universe. You've got a hell of a lot of time when you die and when you don't come back, when you're not reincarnated. But everybody everyone that does magic and tribal work from a spiritual perspective or shaman work usually tends to work with their ancestors. And whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, right now, during the past couple years and in the next few years, we are all still healing our ancestral family lines. So in a way, you're still working with your ancestors. Also, as you go up to the, farther into the 5th dimension, we're already here in this new dimension, but as we go farther and farther and deeper into it, we're going to have a clearer, more common connection with our ancestors, and they're going to come to our aid a lot more. They're going to come and help us, whether it's like my grandmother from my stepmother from Italy. She comes from Sicily, and I never met her in life. My stepmom only found out in her last couple years that she was even Italian. She had been adopted and had no idea. And I'm like, dude, look at you. I could have told you you're Italian. She had her hair was so black. It was not even blue. It was just jet black. She had very thick black hair, and she loved to eat. She had that Mamma Mia energy about her, and so this grandmother started coming to me when I decided I want to start doing Italian food from scratch. And she started coming to me and telling me tips. So she's one of my ancestors in a way through my stepmother. And so she helps me cook. Well, our ancestors will help us cook. Our ancestors will be there to give us advice because they lived before us. They know how to deal with family and relationships and day-to-day things. Now, you can't call upon your great-great-great-grandfather and ask him how to solve your computer issue. They're not there for that. But if you have heavy grief or some abuse that you suffered, maybe one of your ancestors will come to your aid to be there for you. If you are Native American like me, you offer a little bit of tobacco. You smoke one cigarette or burn it. You don't have to smoke it if you have asthma or that affects you, or especially if you're trying to quit, Rainey, my friend. Rainey, my beloved sister from another mister. No more cigarettes for you. The bird has spoken. But if you, so if you're a smoker and you're trying to quit, you can still burn a natural cigarette. Don't, burn it like incense, and then you take a fresh one and you toss that on the ground. You're offering it to Mother Earth, to nature, also to your ancestors. Well, in voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria, and all of these religions that have come from Africa and then blended with the local people in Central and then South America, they also deal with their ancestors, and they still offer offerings And it's all pretty much very, very similar, honestly. All of the earth religions from around the planet have a lot of very, very similar things, similar ways of working with the ancestors. So just because you are or are not working with your own ancestors does not mean that you cannot ask advice of the 7 African powers, which are African ancestors, because they're open and they're loving and they want to help anybody who wishes to listen to their advice or who would be willing to gain from their help. Okay? So the 7 African powers are not Orishas. I want to get that clear right now before we go into the list of Orishas. And I'm not going to go into a complete list, but I am going to go into maybe the top 10. Okay? So, let's see. They are not Egun. The 7 African powers are not Egun. Egun is an African word, a Yoruba word for blood ancestors. Even though you're not they're not ancestors genetically to you. They're not in your bloodline. They are still willing to help. Okay? So you can go buy a 7 African power candle and not feel guilty. You're not culturally misappropriating anything because they're very open to anybody that feels close to them and wants to love them. They will love you back and they will be willing to help you. Okay, so, which is good news, right? So basically there were 7 tribes from Africa that were brought as slaves to Cuba. When the slaves came to Cuba, they brought their spiritual beliefs. And the 7 tribes that were from all over Africa, mostly Nigeria, were the Yoruba, the Congo, the Takua, the Kisi, the Kalabari, the Arara, and the Mandika. Okay, so these 7 tribes were not always getting along with each other when they first arrived to Cuba. They had different traditions, different cultures, different music, probably different dialects, but they were all thrown into literally the same boat. Literally. They were put in horrible conditions. They were under duress. They ended up working together. And they decided that their ancestors would combine together like the people themselves combined together. And that is where we get the 7 African powers. We get the ancestral line of each of these African tribes. That's what the 7 African powers are. All of the family lines. So we don't get one Yoruba spirit, we get them all. When we call upon the Yoruba part, we don't get only the Congo, we get them all. We don't get just one, we get all of the ancestors. Even though they're not Egun, they're willing to help us. Now, how would you call upon the 7 African powers? Well, I'm going to tell you. You can light 7 candles of one each of a different color. So basically the colors of the rainbow, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet, green, forgot about green, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. For indigo, you can use like a deep dark blue, of course. And then for blue, you use a lighter blue. Makes sense, right? Indigo, like, indigo blue or like blue jeans color, dark original blue jeans color. That's one way. Or you can just buy a 7 African power candle. Or you can, and this is really great, you could get 7 pieces of cloth that you only use for this purpose, not old dish rags, not old clothes, just 7 pieces of cloth that are new, okay? New to you is okay. And you cut them, in equal amounts and you tie them together. Or you could just buy 7 handkerchiefs of 7 different colors and you swing them around in the air above your head in a circle. Just kind of swinging around while you call upon the 7 African powers and they will come to your aid. They will come to your rescue if you're in trouble. They will come to your aid if you need healing. If you need anything that you need, they're there for you. Just like your family would be. They're like extended family, and they think of themselves as such, especially if you give them love, honor, and respect. So I love that. The 7 colors whirling about your head. I think that's such a beautiful image. So I'm like, I'm racking my brain. My son said they do have handkerchiefs downtown. I'm thinking this right now. So you have to ask for their help while you whirl these colorful rags about or handkerchiefs about. So I had an experience in which I called upon the 7 African powers on my birthday when I was literally in the Caribbean in Guatemala. I was in Livingstone. They called it Livingstone, man. I mean, literally, I get off the boat and the first words are, "Welcome to Livingstone, man. Can I get you some ganja?" Literally the very first words I heard. I laughed so hard. He goes, and the guy was just like, "No, really, I have it." And it was good weed. I'm like, well, yeah, let's go. Even the mayor of Livingstone, I met him and he was stoned. I mean, everyone's so relaxed and so mellow. It's a Caribbean, man. It was so beautiful. Such a lovely place. Hot. Oh my God. After 7 days, I had to leave. I left on the 8th day. I was like, I can't take the heat. I had to get out. But I did love it. Surrounded by coconuts, and on one side we had this massive river, and on the other side we had the Caribbean Sea, and on a clear day we could see Belize. It was beautiful, really beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to go over some of the Orishas. There are a lot of places on the internet you'll find they'll say there's only 7 Orishas, and those are the 7 African powers. This is not true. So you just got the real information from me. So thank God. Thank God I did a lot of research today. So the Orisha, or god of destiny and fate, he's also kind of a trickster. So I suppose in Native American, he would be considered like the coyote. Right? So he's a trickster god or a fox. He is Elegua or Elegua or Elegba. So, he's a he, and he's kind of in charge of all of mankind's crossroads and roads and crossroads, your destiny, your fate. To get to all the other Orishas, you have to petition through him first, according to the tradition of the people who follow these religions, okay? Now, Elegba or Elegua, he's probably the first one people will pray to, but then if they want to talk to the others, they'll say, like, I need your help in contacting, Yemaya or Ocean, okay? So now Yemaya, she is pretty much the goddess, the African goddess of motherhood. She is the queen of the sea. Yemaya is in charge of all matters related to motherhood, childhood, fertility. If you need to have a baby and you can't get pregnant, she would be the beautiful goddess that you call upon. She is very spiritual, and she is there for you, especially in times of spiritual crisis. She will bring you strength and comfort. Before I get too far, there's one thing I did forget to say about Elegba. He is somebody that, even though he's a trickster, the reason he's a trickster is he is constantly testing our levels of personal integrity, and that's why he tries to trick us. So he'll try to trick us into doing the wrong thing, and that tests who we are. It tests our mettle. It's kind of like, what do you do when you're alone? And that's who you truly are. So if you are always telling the truth and everything's great, but then and then you like steal money when you're alone, when you're tempted, that's who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you have to like imagine, like in all the Christian faiths, or even the Muslim or other faiths, even in Judaism, it's like when God is seeing you and the only one watching you is God, and you're not aware of it, you know, like you have to always act with integrity. You have to always believe God is watching you, no matter what. You know, when the whole world is not watching you, it's God who is watching you. So it's kind of like Elegba would be testing you in that way, testing your integrity. And I guess, you know, like in Christianity, the devil tests you all the time. You know what I mean? But the Orisha Elegua, he is not the devil, of course. He's just a deity who kind of tests your mettle, sees who you are, really. Now, I wanted to tell you also the correspondences between all of the Orishas and other things. So a lot of times people will confuse African powers with the African gods, and then they also relate them to Catholic saints. And a lot of times they will, you'll see, like sometimes you'll see a candle and they'll say the 7 African powers, and it'll be pictures of 7 saints in a chain linked together, and in the center of the chain will be Jesus hanging on a cross. And what is the name of, they call him Olofi, is what the name is that they call Jesus. It's very strange. Olosi. But the whole thing is very strange because it's almost like they want to connect with the Catholicism, or maybe the Catholicism, the Catholic priests wanted to connect with them. So they kind of wanted to overlay their own saints onto what they believe to be the Orishas, or the 7 African powers. And it all gets kind of jumbled up. And Catholicism, as it spread throughout the world, like literally took on different holidays and made it their own in order to crush all of the tribal religions around the planet. So like, whereas, you know, Easter is at that time of year, whether Jesus was killed at that point or not, I don't know. But they made it that time of year to coincide with Ostara, which is an ancient Druidic and Celtic, very, very sacred, you know, it's like the rite of spring, you know, and then after that would be like the May Day and the Maypole thing. Like all of those early religions were, the Catholic Church tried to crush them by overlaying their own religious holidays. That's why Christmas is 4 days after the winter solstice. And that's why a lot of the things that people do for Christmas are original pagan traditions, like having a Christmas tree, having red and white. It's like when people would take those mushrooms, the red and white death cap mushrooms. A lot of people would trip balls in the pagan religions during that time to see whatever visions that the gods would have them see and know. So now the colors red and white are now part of the Christmas tradition. Well, gee, I wonder why. Trying to crush the thing. So in the African traditions, we have Orisha Elegba. He is, what they say, syncretized or synchronized with Saint Anthony. His colors are red and black. His number is 3 and 21. So the next god is Ogun. His saint is corresponding with Saint Peter. His colors are green and black, and his number is 3. Now, Ogun is a mighty warrior god. He is the divine blacksmith. So he crafts tools and weapons, and he's literally the hardest working Orisha of them all. Now, Ogun is a father of technology, cutting edge of the knife and power of metals. So he's like if you're a blacksmith, he would be the one that you would ask for, please give me guidance in this, you know, what I do. he's always considered to be very muscular because he's always working with his hands, and sometimes he makes will work with a skirt made of palm fiber, and he always carries a machete at his side, probably because he has to go get his materials in the thick, dense jungle, right? So Ochosi is another Orisha. His saint that he is related to is Saint Norbert. His numbers are 3 and 7. His colors are blue and amber. It's funny, I mentioned that today. Those colors were in the sky, the blue and gold. Gold is kind of like an amber color. So, pretty cool. Ochosi is a divine hunter, and his arrow will never miss its mark. So I guess he would be related in Greek to the goddess Artemis. He stalks silently through the forest, hunting his prey. He is a force of blind justice. He applies this equally to all. So he'll definitely punish the wicked who are of less integrity, but he'll also bring justice and free the people who are innocent but accused falsely. Now, there is the Orisha Oko, or Orisha Oko, or sometimes they just call him Oko. His colors are light blue and pink. Oh, like the sky yesterday. Cool. His number is 7, and his saint that he's related to is Isidore. Now, Orisha Oko is the Orisha of agriculture and the fertile earth. So if you're a farmer or a gardener, or maybe you're just growing a strawberry plant on your porch or a tomato plant, he would be the one you'd ask for advice or help with your plant. He rules the mystery of the black earth that gives birth to crops and life. So therefore, he's also related to procreation and infertility, not only of the planet or plants on the planet, but also of humans. He's often depicted as a hardworking farmer. He'll wear a straw hat and plow the earth with a team of 2 oxen. Now, Olokun, he does not have a saint that's related to him. His colors are dark blue with green. His number is 9. Now, Olokun is the Orisha that rules the depths of the sea, where light does not touch. Oh, that makes sense. Dark blue with green, that's pretty much the colors of the sea where light does not touch. He is very mysterious, and they don't know if he's male or female. Pretty cool. Maybe he would be for people who are transgender or gender neutral, or maybe even asexual or bisexual. Maybe he would be the one to call upon for matters of that. Matters of the heart or matters of gender confusion, because if it's confused in him, that would be what he would also be a god of. He is primordial, and he arose out of his own ash, kind of like a phoenix. When the first oceans were formed on the surface of the earth, he was there. He gathers the sunken treasures and souls of the drowned. He rules from the depths. Not usually is he perceived or depicted in a human form. So, in Greek, he would be related to the god Poseidon. That's pretty cool. Now, this one is so cool because when I was reading this, I was trying to read the word of this, and I'm like, what? How do I say this one? Oh, I'm going to mess this one up. And then I went really slow with the word, and I'm like, Babalu, yay. And then I went, oh my God, Babalu, yay. And then I went, oh my God, Desi Arnaz sang that in I Love Lucy. Babalu was his signature song. Oh my God. I did not know that the Cubano Ricky Ricardo, which was Desi Arnaz in real life, who was really Cubano in real life, he sang a song to the Orisha, Babaluaye. Now, Baba Luaye, he is one of the most beloved, most worshipped, and petitioned Orishas in all of Santeria. He is the Orisha of all of the most horrible diseases because he is a healer. So if you have a contagious disease, whether it be smallpox or in modern times, AIDS or Ebola or, the worst of the worst, I guess, swine flu, bird flu, any flu you get from an animal, basically, anything that you need help with. It could be a flu or a cold. Could be something more normal, but chicken pox, all that, he is the God that rules over all that can help you. So, I don't know, watch an old I Love Lucy if you're sick and light a little candle. His color, Baba Lu, his colors are brown, black, white, and blue. So if you have a candle laying around that's white, blue, brown, or black, maybe write a number 17 on it and ask Baba Luaye, please help me in this disease or in this infirmity that I am suffering. Please help me with this. Light a candle and ask him to help. I'm sure he would be happy to help you. He is in charge of healing epidemics. He is worshipped by the Arara people of Africa more specifically, okay? But he's also very famous throughout Cuba because of Desi Arnaz. In 1946, that song was super famous. I'm not that old, but boy, am I a fan of I Love Lucy, one of the best shows ever made. I love physical comedy, physical humor, and Lucy was the best. And Ricky Ricardo, he swears in Spanish. He says words that nobody knew because they didn't know Spanish back then. He says words that you will have, if you learn Spanish and then you go back and watch it, you're like, oh my God. He's like literally saying the worst words you could say in Spanish. And the censors didn't know, so no one ever stopped I Love Lucy from being on the air. I have a feeling that was kind of like a secret joke, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Like he's running around going pendejo, which means asshole, or cabron, which kind of is another worse. It's like the F word mixed with asshole. It's like, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. But if you ever see an image, like if you go to Cuba and you see an image of Baba Luaye, it'll be an old man covered in sores, walking on crutches and accompanied by 2 dogs. So if you ever see a candle with that, don't let it get you scared. Just realize this is someone who he's depicted that way because that he takes care of people with diseases. Now, his saint, of course, would have to be Saint Lazarus. Do you guys remember Lazarus? Remember when Lazarus died in the Bible and Jesus said, Lazarus, rise. And he not only talked to the dead, which is necromancy, he also brought the dead back to life. So Saint Lazarus was brought back to life by Jesus, okay? That's serious magic. Baba Luaye is related to Lazarus. Very, very interesting. Now, this next Orisha I'm really excited about because there are 2 things. The first thing is, his name is Ibeji. He's also called Ibeyi, Ibeli, or Meli, M-E-L-L-I. Ibeji is a set of twins. They are a sacred set of twins. I believe that if you are looking for your divine counterpart, your divine twin, maybe it's a Ibeji that you need to talk to because he is twins. His numbers are 2, 4, and 8, all numbers divisible by 2. His colors are red and blue, or his and her colors are red and blue because they are a female and a male set of twins. Their saint, I keep saying her saint, his saint, are Saint Damien and Saint Cosme. So they are considered to be one Orisha, but they are a set of twins. Just like you and your divine counterpart, your twin flame is you. You're considered one being, yet you're two souls living out two separate lives. And at the end of the schematic, which is now, if you're meant to bring the twin flame energy to the planet or to humanity, I would say that Ibeji would be your best bet in getting back together with your twin. In fact, I may light a candle when I get off of here and ask Ibeji to help me. So, twins are very sacred in Africa to the Lukumi people. Okay? And the Ibeji are children of Ocean and Chango. Chango is another Orisha we're going to go over in a moment, okay? So basically, the very first twins that were ever born on Earth, or ever, were considered to be Ibeji, the boy and the girl. And their mother, Ocean, was shunned as a witch. So she kicked the Ibeji out to reclaim her position in society. But Oya, another Orisha, took in the Ibeji and raised them as an adopted mother. So maybe the Ibeji possibly would be someone to call upon to protect your adopted mother. Now, they're depicted as two young children or babies, and the boy was Taiwo, and the girl was Kehinde, and he was dressed in red and she was dressed in blue. So even though Kehinde was born second, she's always considered to be first and the elder of the two. So pretty interesting stuff. I was pretty excited. I guess they're very sacred, and there's I think it's in Yoruba society, there was more twins born there than maybe in the whole world. It's like they're one of the top places where twins are born. So twins are very, very sacred and special. Another place in Peru, twins are sacred and special. And I think I did talk about that a little bit. If not, I will go over it. But there's a place that if you want twins, you go and you sit in a mud bath. And the mud bath is charged with UFOs that go in and out of the water, and in an underground tunnel from the ocean where the UFOs land to this special sacred bath. People who sit there long enough end up with twins, and there are more twins in that town than anywhere else in Peru. Very, very spooky. So it makes me wonder if they're not praying to the Orisha Ibeji. Now, the Orisha Obatala, her color is white, and she is related to Our Lady of Mercy. Her number is 8. She's considered to be the eldest of the Orishas. She is the owner of the white cloth, the king of peace and logic. Or so she, I mean, I'm saying she's related. No, he is related to Our Lady of Mercy, but he's a he. So, but, actually it's not. He's androgynous. Again, this would be a god that you call upon if you are androgynous, or maybe you are a male to female or a female to male transgender person. So possibly Obatala would be your Orisha. He mediates between all the other Orishas. He encourages diplomacy. So if you need diplomacy in your life, you need logic, peace. Basically, his shrine is placed above all the other shrines because he's respected as the elder, and he would be the one to make peace among everyone in your life. So I would say he'd be a very good, if you're a transgender person, this would be probably your go-to guy, girl, them. We should just call them them. He is usually depicted as an elderly black man with chalk white hair, dressed in white robes. And by the way, why do people in voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria, and the like wear white robes? I thought that would be something that maybe you would be interested in knowing. People in this religion wear white because white is a symbol of not only purity, it's also a symbol of modesty. When you come to the god, the main creator god or all the gods or even to your ancestors, you want to approach with respect. And you can't be wearing a bunch of jewelry and a bunch of stuff and be respectful. You have to just put forth your innermost self and drop all the ego BS behind. And so where you wear a pure white robe, and that's why a lot of times in voodoo or hoodoo, they will bathe themselves in water or spritz themselves with water before they begin to purify their ego. And the same thing is done with incense. I stumbled upon in Guatemala, in Livingstone, I stumbled upon accidentally a ceremony, and I saw that they were doing that. And I kind of knew what was going on, and I was like, oh, I wanted to stay and watch, but I didn't, out of respect and love for them. I wanted to give them their space, of course. So let's see. Shango is related to lightning and power, passion, sensuality, strength, and obtaining your dignity if you have lost it. Shango or Chango or Sango is the three words that they use to call him. He is related to Santa Barbara. His colors are red and white and his number is 6. He is a fierce warrior and a powerful sorcerer. He spits fire. He is a passionate ladies' man, a charmer, and he's filled with the power of passion and virility. So if you've lost your mojo, guys, this is your go-to, Chango. He is seen as a young man wearing a crown and carrying a double-headed axe. He is very handsome. So if you think you don't have good enough looks, maybe he can help you. Maybe he can help you feel better about yourself, and maybe he'll help you become a little more handsome. He is from Yoruba, and he was deified and became an Orisha. He was the 4th king in the city of Oyo in Yoruba. So he is someone who was literally born in Nigeria, and he was such a beautiful, larger-than-life human being that he became a powerful god. He is also master of the dance, so if you want to attract the ladies by being a good dancer, guys, Chango is your guy. Yemaya is related to Our Lady of Regla. Her colors are blue and clear. Well, is clear a color? That's interesting, isn't it? Her number is 7. She is the mother of all living things. She is the queen of heaven, earth, and all of the waters. She resides, though, in the ocean. Her children are countless like the fishes in the sea. Now, Yemaya is the mother of all the Orishas. She is a fierce protectress, so call upon her if you are a mother or father with children and you want to protect them. She's very loving, but she can fight with a scimitar or a machete if called. She's known to bathe in the blood of her enemies if called, apparently. That's kind of from going from loving to fierce, but hey, mothers are like that, right? She is depicted as a very beautiful, voluptuous black woman with full breasts, and she's always dressed in blue. So if you ever go over to Haiti and you see this image on a candle or something, you best know that she is the Orisha Yemaya. Now, the Orisha Orula or Orunmila or Orunla, they're all the same, but they come from, these names come from different parts of Africa, and sometimes they are depicted in Spanish as well. Now, he is related to Saint Francis of Assisi. Do you guys remember my Saint Francis of Assisi episode? So, pretty cool. Of course, his colors would be brown, like Saint Francis of Assisi, but also green and yellow. Brown and green together, or yellow and green together. His number is 16, and he is the Orisha of divination. And if you want to know where your fate is headed, consult him first. He developed the oracles of the palm nuts and the okuele, or the diviner's chain. I'm thinking that might be possibly related to the pendulum. Pretty interesting, right? Now, his priests are called the Babalawos, and they function exclusively as diviners. So he is usually depicted as a wizened black man with graying hair, dressed in traditional African garb, carrying his wooden diviner's tray. Ooh, it's so intriguing, right? Okay, there are many Orishas that I can go over, but as we are running out of time, I cannot get through this list without telling you about Ocean. She is the youngest of the Orishas. She is the most popular in all of Santeria. She is the last one born, but she is born out of the love for creation. She is the Orisha of love, beauty, femininity, and sensuality. She will lead people to compare her to the goddess Venus or Aphrodite. Ocean is the actual depiction of sweetness, love, and everything that makes life worth living. You can't go wrong if you petition Ocean to be in your life. She will weave spells to intoxicate lovers. She is a powerful sorceress, and she will help you with your relationships. And she is related to the sacred Anya drums, and she dances to forget her sorrows. So if you need to get rid of your sorrows, ask her to join you and turn on some good music, shake that booty of yours, and dance with her. So, I don't know. I might actually go over Ocean later. I might go over. There's so much wonderfulness about her. I might actually do a full show on only this beautiful Orisha. She is the mother of the divine twins, fathered by, of course, Lord of the Dance, Chongo. So there are a few others real quickly. If I could get through it before this cuts off, this will be lovely, right? Let's see here. Oya is Orisha for communication between the living and the dead. If you specialize in necromancy, or you just need to ask your Aunt Ada for a special family recipe for apple pie or stew or something, you might want to contact Oya to help you. Oya, she is a female warrior, and she is very powerful and can create tornadoes and lightning. She will summon them for you if you need something to happen now. Maybe this is a spiritual tornado or an emotional tornado to come and get rid of the negative energy inside of you, or maybe an actual tornado as well, because she's a very powerful African goddess. So I think I've gone over the most of the ones I had written down. Yeah, I actually did. There's so many though, guys. There's so many. I may do another episode on more African Orishas. I'll definitely probably do one of Goddess Ocean. She's very beautiful, and like I said, she represents all the sweetness in life and everything that makes life worth living. So with that, I just wanted to let you know about this, and we'll do another thing on Santeria, I think, at some point in the future. I hope I cleared up some things for you regarding this. It's not negative or evil. It's just very much the African version of all the other goddesses that are depicted throughout history over the planet Earth. The Roman pantheon, the Greek pantheon, and the like. It's just another facet of the one great big diamond that creates this spirituality that we share among us as humans. So anyway, I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. I love every one of you. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for upcoming shows, please feel free to write me at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. I usually get back to you within 3 days because I've been getting a lot of mail lately. So hang tight if I don't get back to you immediately. I do my best. You can also send me a voice message to be played over the air if you like at anchor.fm/metaphysical. This has been Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight and for sharing this journey of human ascension with me. Now I am signing off with peace and love and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, peace. Oh, quickly before I forget, I did forget to tell you, by the way, Ocean is related to Our Lady of Charity of Cobre and the number 5. Her colors are gold, yellow, amber, and coral, although a lot of people don't like to use yellow because that reminds people of when Ocean was poor. So don't use yellow with her, only coral and gold and amber. All right, okay, signing off now. Love you. Bye. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.